Okay, let's talk about something that happens every single year. You know, around the holidays, millions of us get that email from IT telling us it's time to reset our passwords. It feels like a normal bit of security housekeeping, right? A fresh start for the new year. But what if I told you that this very predictable ritual is actually a massive, gift wrapped opportunity for hackers?
So let me just ask you this straight up. You get that prompt in December and you need a new password. You come up with something like R3Dear 2025 exclamation point. I mean, it's got a capital letter, a number for a letter, a symbol at the end. It feels pretty strong, doesn't it? Just kind of keep your answer to that in the back of your mind for a few minutes. Because that exact habit, reaching for something festive and familiar, is the super predictable problem we're going to break down. And this isn't just a guess. Security experts are seeing this pattern on a huge scale. And the data here is, well, it's pretty staggering. A recent analysis looked at 800 million compromised credentials. And just to be clear, that means passwords that have already been stolen or leaked online. And what they found was a massive, undeniable trend.
It turns out that when we're forced to change our passwords, a huge number of us turn to whatever's top of mind. And late in the year, that's the holidays. So you see stuff like Holly Jolly 2024, Christmas 2024, or even those ones that feel a little clever with the number substitutions like Christmas was. They probably look pretty familiar because let's be honest, we've all probably thought of something just like it. And you know what? This makes total sense from a psychological standpoint. When you're under pressure, you just want to get the reset over with so you can get back to your work. You're not thinking about perfect, uncrackable security. You're thinking, oh man, what am I actually going to remember? So you grab onto something memorable, and in that fourth quarter, that something is almost always the holiday season. So here's the twist. What feels memorable and clever to us is basically an annual, predictable gift for hackers. To really get why, we need to flip the script and look at this from their perspective. And this is the absolute kicker. To us, it's a password. But to a modern password cracking tool, it's just a simple pattern. These programs aren't just guessing random letters. They're churning through entire dictionaries of common words. And yeah, that includes every holiday word you can think of. And then they just tack on common patterns, like the current year and a symbol at the end. This right here perfectly shows the disconnect. You see Halloween 2024 and you think, hey, I was pretty clever with that @ symbol. But a hacker's tool just sees a dead simple formula. Take a holiday word, add the year, add a symbol. It can try millions of those combinations in seconds, and yours will pop almost instantly. This human predictability is pure fuel for a type of attack called credential stuffing. Basically, hackers take huge lists of usernames and passwords that have been stolen from other breaches, and they use bots to just hammer login pages all over the internet, trying them everywhere. So when thousands of employees at one company all create new, holiday-themed passwords at the exact same time, well, you can see how those automated attacks become incredibly effective. So yeah, we've got a weak password problem. But it's actually bigger than that. It turns out several different things all converge at the end of the year to create what is basically the perfect storm for a major data breach. It all starts with corporate policy. So many companies schedule these big, mandatory, all-hands password resets at the end of a quarter, or you guessed it, at the end of the calendar year. They're essentially handing attackers a schedule. The bad guys know exactly when to expect a giant wave of fresh, weak passwords to hit the system. So let's just lay out this recipe for disaster step by step. First, you've got the totally predictable reset schedule. Second, you get a massive flood of new, easy-to-guess festive passwords hitting all at once. And third, all of this is happening when IT and security teams are often running on a skeleton crew because, hey, it's the holidays for them too. It is a true trifecta of vulnerability. Okay, so that's the problem. And I know, it sounds a little bleak, but the good news is fixing this doesn't require some massive, complicated overhaul. It really just comes down to building smarter habits and policies that, frankly, any organization can start implementing today. So, what can we actually do? Well, for starters, companies can just ban seasonal words from passwords. Simple. Next, stop being so predictable. Instead of making everyone reset their password in December, randomize the timing throughout the year. And finally, and this is a big one, we need to shift our thinking from complexity to length by requiring passphrases. And here's exactly why that shift matters so much. A password like Frosty 2025 exclamation point is pretty short and it follows a really predictable pattern. But a simple phrase pass, something like 4 random word phrase, even though it seems simple to us, is exponentially harder for a computer to crack.
Why? Because it's so much longer. In the world of passwords, length is the new strength.
Beyond that, there are some seriously powerful tools we should be using. Breached password protection services can automatically scan for and block passwords that are already known to be weak or have shown up in a leak. Even better, deploying a company-wide password manager just takes the human element out of it entirely. And last, but honestly the most important of all, enforce multi-factor authentication, or MFA. Look, think of MFA as your ultimate safety net. Because even if a hacker does everything right and manages to crack a password, it's basically useless to them without that second factor, that little code from your phone or a tap on an app. MFA is the barrier that slams the door shut right in their face. So, if you remember just one thing from all of this, let it be this. Our biggest security risks usually don't come from some super sophisticated genius-level hack. They come from simple, predictable human behavior. These patterns, whether it's a holiday-themed password or a calendar-based reset schedule, are the exact things that attackers hunt for. And that really brings us to the final question I want to leave you with. Think about your own organization, your own security practices. Is your company's calendar, with all its predictable cycles and deadlines, accidentally providing a step-by-step roadmap for hackers? It's definitely something worth thinking about.